Hello everyone and welcome to Jacklit Educational Channel. So this is the part 6 of the revision series in which we are discussing important questions for the environmental science examination. So those who haven't checked the previous lessons, you can check the link given in the description below so that to complete your revision before the exam. So let's start today's video. So before starting the revision, I would like to say two things. One thing is that please hold the mobile in the horizontal mode, that is landscape mode, for better resolution, and we will discuss today the connected revision technique, so stay tuned for that technique. So the first question is SSN Reasoning, in which the assertion statement states thiamine depletion in oceanic water column is a driver for wildlife decline, and the reason given is thiamine is required for the cellular metabolism and its deficiency can cause immunosuppression. So here the correct option will be option number 1. Yes, because the thiamine, which is the vitamin B1, the first discovered vitamin B, is essential for the energy production as well as the carbohydrate metabolism and nerve cell function of wildlife which is present in the oceanic water. So it is very important and its deficiency can cause several problems. Let's move to the next question. The next question is, according to the Darcys Law, the relationship between flow velocity and the hydraulic gradient is what kind of? So here the correct option will be option number 1. Yes, the relationship between the flow velocity and hydraulic gradient of the Darcys Law is linear. So don't get confused with exponential, because as the hydraulic gradient increases, the flow velocity also increases. So you have to remember this formula, that is Q is equal to minus Ka dH by dL, which is one of the frequently asked question in environmental science examination. So let's move to the next question. So the next question is from the nitrogen cycle. Yes, nitrogen cycle is also one of the important questions for the environmental science exam, and the question here given is the preferred form of nitrogen for uptake by most of the plants is what? So which of the following form of nitrogen is mostly preferred by the plants? And here the correct option will be option number 1, nitrate. Yes, NO3 minus is mostly preferred for the plants, but you have to remember that also plants used to take ammonium ion in the form of nitrogen, but mostly preferred if it is asking, then it will be in NO3 minus. Let's move to the next question. The next question is related to remote sensing, and the question is the reference data or the ground truth data is used for the which purposes in remote sensing. So what are the purpose of the reference data? And here the correct option will be option number 1. Yes, all these three are the purposes of the ground truthing, that is to help in analysis and interpretation of the remotely sensed data. It also helps in to calibrate the sensor and as well as to verify the information extracted from the remotely sensed data. So this is very important, reference data or ground truthing. So the next question is, R selected and K selected species live in what kind of environment? So this question is asking about the stability of the environment in which the R and K selected species live, and here the correct option will be option number 2. Yes, R selected are living in unstable condition and K selected species used to live in stable environment respectively. So these are one of the frequently asked questions, so you should know all the differences. So this is the table to learn about the R and K selected differences. So we will do one by one. So first is R selected are living in unstable environment, as we have discussed in the question. Next is K selected species live in the stable environment. Next coming up is the size of the organism. So mostly these R selected species are small sized organism, but K selected species are mostly large bodied organism. Next is low parental care is seen in case of the R selected species. So parents are not much caring about their offsprings, but high parental care is seen in case of K selected species. Next point is about the offsprings number. So they produce many offsprings, the R selected species, whereas the K selected species they produce few offspring, so lesser number of babies are produced. Next is the early maturity is seen, but in K selected species their maturity comes later in their stages. So the R selected species are having short lifespan or life expectancy you can say, whereas K selected species are having long lifespan. Next is they are density independent species, the R selected, but K selected are density dependent species. Next is about the survivorship curve. You should know that these R selected species they follow type 3 survivorship curve, whereas K selected species follow type 1 or type 2 survivorship curve. So as these are selected species follow the type 3 survivorship curve, that's why most of the individuals die within a short time, but a few only live for much longer period. Whereas it is opposite, that means as the case selected species follow type 1 and type 2 survivorship curve, the most individuals live to near the maximum lifespan. So here you should remember with one trick I will tell you that K alphabet comes first in the alphabet series, and after certain alphabets the R comes. That's why K means that it is the elder son or elder daughter, so it will enjoy more benefits, so it will be more dominant. As R is the younger son, it comes late, that's why he will or she will enjoy less benefits and less dominance. Type 1 survivorship curve is followed by man, which is an example of K selected species, and type 2 selected species are hydra and songbirds, which are also K selected species, but R selected species follow the type 3 curve. So what is the difference in the curve? So as you can see in the x-axis, the given is age of an organism, so how much age it is living, and in the y-axis it is given that fraction of organisms surviving, so how many organisms are surviving. So as you can see, as the age progresses in type 3 curves, the number of organisms surviving decreases and close to 0. But whereas you can see as the age of an organism increases, the fraction of organisms surviving is more. So in case of type 1 survivorship curve. So this is the survivorship curve. As you can see, the difference between type 2 and type 3 is that type 2 survivorship curve is linear kind of. So slowly the number of organisms decreases as the age increase. But type 3, drastically the number of organisms decrease as the age progresses. So they are maximum in the early stage. But whereas type 1 survivorship curve, the organisms are following a typical straight line, which is maximum number of organisms are present at the mature stage. So let's move on to the next question. Question is from the water column zone. So here we have to know profundal zone of the oligotrophic lakes is characterized by which of the following biomass? So what kind of biomass is present in the profundal zone of the oligotrophic lakes? So it is very easy, because if you know what are oligotrophic lakes, they are very less in biomass, less in nutrients, so you can go and directly hit the option 1, that is low biomass. Even if you don't know profundal zone, if you forget that zone or not, but if you know oligotrophic, then you can go for this option. Because other than that option, everywhere it is mentioned average or high biomass or very high biomass. Let's move to the next question. So the next question I will tell you about the connected revision. That means, first read the question. The question is, according to Wildlife Protection Act, the closed area refers to what? So here the correct option will be option number 2. Yes, according to the Wildlife Protection Act, the closed area means the area closed for hunting for a specified period of time. For certain period of time, if the area is closed for hunting, then it is called as closed area. But what is this connected revision? I would like to say that if you are doing any question, solving any question, so you should relate that question to other 2-3 questions. So as it is written here is Wildlife Protection Act, so immediately you should relate with 1972, which was the year for the enactment of Wildlife Protection Act. So similarly, what happens? You have learned one thing, that is what is closed area. Along with that, you have recalled the 1972 year of Wildlife Protection Act. So in this way, you can remember and practice more than 2 or 3 questions in one question. Let's move to the next question. The next question is, among the chemical species, which is given in the options 1, 2, 3 and 4, the pH of natural water is controlled mainly by which of the following ions? So here the correct option will be option number 2. Yes, why option number 2? Because these carbonate ions, that is H2CO3, HCO3- and CO32- are responsible for the pH of natural water, but this chloride ion is not responsible for the pH control of natural water. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is, ozone in the stratosphere is not removed by the catalytic cycles involving homogeneous gas phase reactions of which of the following families? So here you should know that here it is mentioned not, so read the carefully. So here the correct option will be option number 2. Yes, the oxides of sulfur family are not able to remove the catalytic cycles involving homogeneous gas phase reactions, the ozone in the stratosphere. So but the oxides of bromine, oxides of nitrogen and oxides of hydrogen are able to remove that. Let's move to the next question. So before moving to the next question, let's once again connect the revision. That means ozone it is asked, so you should connect somewhat. So we can connect that stratospheric ozone are good for health because they protect us from the UV rays, but tropospheric ozone are not good for us as they cause breathing problems and many other diseases. So like this, we can connect to different questions. Next question is, among the gases that are given here, the permanent atmospheric gases are what? So here, the correct option will be option number 2. Yes, nitrogen and oxygen are called the permanent atmospheric gases, but apart from these two, that ozone, carbon dioxide, oxides of sulfur, NOx and carbon monoxide are the temporary atmospheric gases. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, the Keeling curve is a plot between. So this is, I think most of the students will be able to answer, and here I have included because it is one of the frequently asked question, and the answer will be option number 2. Because the Keeling curve is plot between, that means a graph between the concentration of carbon dioxide which is taken in the y-axis in parts per million to the year of measurement. So here years are present, and it has been taken since 1958 in Mauna Loa Observatory in Hawaii Island, so that to know the carbon dioxide level in the atmosphere. So you can see here it is increasing every year. Let's move to the next question. The next question is that which of the following analytical technique can help to elucidate an elemental fingerprint without the need to analyze the material destructively. And here the correct option will be option number 2. Yes, X-ray fluorescence spectrometry doesn't destroy the material to analyze the elemental fingerprint, so only the X-rays will go past the material and then they will get back the information. But in case of other things, that is flame photometry, spectrophotometry and atomic absorption spectroscopy, for example in flame also, the flame is used to destroy the atoms so that to get the elemental configuration. So let's move to the next question. The next question is a numerical. So the numerical question states, a student has prepared a calibration curve by measuring the absorbance of 5 standard solution of a compound at 300 nanometer. A cuvette with a path length of 5 cm was used, and the process was a spectrophotometer. So this process was used. So the slope of the curve was 300 liter per mole, and the molar absorptivity of the compound is asked in the question. So here this question is related to BeerLambert law. So I must say that BeerLambert law is one of the frequently asked question. So the formula is, you know, that A is equal to KCL. So here what it is given here is the slope of the curve. So from slope of the curve means it has given A by C. So A by C is given, that is 300 liter per mole, and we have to calculate the K because L is also given, that is length of the cuvette 5 cm is given. So A by C is given, length is given, and we have to find K, and we know the formula is equal to A is equal to KCL. So after solving that, we will get the answer as 60 liter per mole per centimeter inverse will be the molar absorptivity of that compound. So if you are not able to follow this, you can check the link given in the description because I have already made a video on this BeerLambert law. So let's move to the next question. The next question is again a assertion and reasoning type of question. And in the assertion, the statement states that the acid rain lowers the fertility of the soil, and reason given is the hydrogen ions exchange the nutrient anions. So here the correct option will be option number 2. Yes, because the assertion statement is absolutely correct, because acid rain lowers the fertility of soil, so it damages the soil. The reason is wrong because, so how this is false I will say, because hydrogen ions, that is H plus, are cations. So cations will replace the cations, not the anions. So that means a batsman will replace the batsman, a bowler will exchange with the bowler, not that the cation will replace with the anion. So that's why the reason is wrong. So let's move to the next question. So in this way, if you are having basic concept here, you can solve the question even if you don't understand it completely. Next question is match the following. So match the following, we have to match with the soil horizons given with their layers. So what are they are called? So here we'll match one by one. The O horizon, that is called as the organic matter layer, and next is A horizon. So A horizon will match with the surface soil, it is called as surface soil. Next comes the B horizon, which is called as the subsoil. So you should remember A horizon is called surface soil or topsoil, and B horizon is called as subsoil. Finally coming to the sea horizon, which is called as parent rock. So bedrock are situated there, that's why they are called the parent rock, because from them only the rocks are broken and then they move upward to form the soil layers. So here the correct option will be option number 2. Let's move to the next question. The next question is from the EIA segment, in which what is a contingency plan, it is asked in EIA. So the correct option will be option number 3. Yes, a contingency plan in EIA is the plan of actions to prevent an emergency and steps to be taken when emergencies occur. So you can say that the contingency plan in EIA is the emergency plan. So you can correlate here, that we will connected revision. EIA, you should remember what is SEA, that is strategic environmental assessment, what is rapid EIA. So everything you should remember, because EIA is one of the important topic. So let's move to the next question. The next question is again a match the following, in which the list 1 is the mass movement type and the list 2 given is the materials. So here what we have to match is that the material along with its correct mass movement type. So we'll match one by one. So what material will fall? So rock will fall. Similarly, what will flow? So soil will flow. Then subsidence will be related to the caves movement, and then lateral movement will be related to the blocks. So that means D1. So that means the correct option here will be option number 3. Let's move to the next question. The next question is again a match the following, because through match the following we are able to know more concept in one question. So here also we have to match the pollutant along with the health effect which they are causing. So sulfur dioxide pollutant causes bronchitis, that means bronchial problem, respiratory problem. Then comes ozone. So ozone will cause pulmonary injury, and carbon monoxide is a asphyxiant. So what are asphyxiant? Asphyxiant are the substance which can cause consciousness or death by the suffocation. That means when they decrease the oxygen supply, they cause suffocation and the person can die. Next is lead. So lead causes nerve and blood effects. So you should remember, lead is mostly responsible for the neurological disorder. So accordingly, the correct option will be option number 4. Let's move to the next question. The next question is, which of the following is not a precursor of classical smog? Here we will do the connected revision through the question itself, because classical smog means in your mind exactly it should come that it is talking about London smog. So London smog is classical smog, and it is not involving the sunlight, because it is a pure form of smog, and sunlight is used in the photochemical smog, that is Los Angeles smog. So here the correct option will be option number 4, because it is not a precursor of classical smog, and this London and Los Angeles smog are very important. So you can check the video, as I am telling you, it is very important. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, the online monitoring technique for the oxides of nitrogen is based on the chemiluminescence of which of the following molecules in excited state? So here the correct option will be option number 4. Yes, nitrogen dioxide when is having the excited state, then it is able to monitor in through the chemiluminescence technique. So you should remember, chemiluminescence is related to nitrogen dioxide. So let's move to the next question. The next question is the area of water column. So again I am telling you, this is also one of the frequently asked. So the area of water column at which the light intensity is just sufficient. So many students by reading just sufficient only they will go for the answer. So I will read the question. For rate of photosynthesis to be equal to the rate of respiration. So this is known as the compensation depth. So you should remember what are the depths, the benthic region, the aphotic region, and what kinds of animals are living inside them. Let's move to the next question. The next question is coming from the river zone. So here it is asking the lacustrine zone in a reservoir, that means a basin which is a dam, is having what kind of characteristics. So it is given 4 characteristics and you have to select the correct ones. So here the correct option will be option number 1, 2 and 3 only. That means option 4 will be correct, because lacustrine zone is not having the turbid water. So you will know about this zonation. I have made a slide for you. So exactly these 3 zones are divided in a river with reservoir, that is dam mostly. So first is riverine zone, then comes transitional, then comes lacustrine zone. So you have to know all the characteristics of these different zones, because it is very important. So we'll start with the riverine zone. So in riverine zone it is narrow, as you can see it is narrower. So it is very narrow, that's why it is having relatively high flow of water. That means narrow passage will go for higher flow. Next is transitional zone, so which is a bit broader than this one, that is riverine zone. So it is broader and deeper basin with reduced flow rate. So as it is a bit broader, that means a relatively less flow rate will be seen. Next comes the lacustrine zone. So lacustrine zone is broader one, deeper and lake-like basin. So you have to remember, lake-like basin is seen in case of lacustrine zone and with relatively lower flow rates. As it is wider, so it will be having lower flow rate. Next comes about the suspended solid. So riverine zone is having the highest amount of suspended solid. Then it is followed by the transitional zone. So it is reduced suspended solid, so bit lesser. Then relatively clear zone. That means you can say no suspended solids are present in the lacustrine zone, which is relatively clear zone. Next comes allochthonous and autochthonous. So allochthonous is riverine zone. So autochthonous and allochthonous are a very important terminology. So auto means automatically. So autochthonous means automatically the carbon or the nutrient source are within the source. From here itself the carbon and nutrients are found. That means with the help of algae, microbial breakdown process, the nutrients and carbon are seen in case of lacustrine zone. Now we will talk about the allochthonous region, which is called as riverine zone. So why riverine zone is called allochthonous? That means the nutrients or the carbon present over here are coming from outside. That means from the outside plant or soil, these are having the nutrients or carbon, unlike the lacustrine zone which are producing their own automatically, that is autochthonous. So next is the P and R relationship. That means P means production and R means respiration. So here production is less than the respiration in case of riverine zone, but here in case of lacustrine zone production is greater than the respiration. So remember this table, you can note it down because it is also very important. So let's move to the next question. The next question is, which of the following materials is used as a moderator in a nuclear power reactor? So here the correct option will be option number 1, graphite. Yes, graphite is used as a moderator in nuclear power reactor. So don't get confused with moderator and control rods. I will let you know what are moderator and control rods. So moderators are the elements or the materials which are used to slow down the neutrons. As you know, neutrons are bombarded to the heavier nuclei in case of nuclear fission. So to slow down the movement of the neutrons when they are passing or then spread from the heavy nuclear, then these moderators are used. So why they are used? Because to hit the fuel rods increases. So by slowing down these neutrons, the probability of neutron to hit the fuel rods increases. That means to increase the efficiency. So what are the main moderator used? So main moderator used are water, normal water, heavy water, graphite and beryllium. So you should remember these are also one of the frequently asked questions. Next comes to the control rods. So they are also different. So don't get confused because in the option it was given cadmium. Many students should have done, but it is control rods which are made up of cadmium and boron. So what are their function? So their function is to slow down the rate of reaction, not the slowing down the neutrons. So to a controllable limit to control the reaction, these control rods are used. So what will happen if these control rods are not used? So if these control rods are not used, the reaction may blow up like a nuclear bomb. So it will be very, very disastrous. So that's why they are helping, because when we are raising them, they are allowing to take the reaction. When we are lowering them, they are not allowing the reaction, that is fission reaction, to take place. So guys, that's all in this part of the video. You can check the important playlist I have given in the description so that you will be able to prepare for the exam before that very easily. And if you like this video, don't forget to like this and subscribe the channel if you haven't subscribed, and don't forget to hit the bell icon, because whenever I will upload the video, you will get the notifications as soon as I upload. So see you guys in our next video.